A couple weeks ago, I was asked to paint something that was going to be a bit hard for me to do. A pet portrait in remembrance of a beautiful life. This was a daunting thing for me artistically because, well, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you've seen my current style is a bit whimsical and not at all true to life, and I didn't think that that sort of style would be appropriate for this request. But I did want to do it for a number of reasons, and so even though I was unsure, I didn't hesitate to say yes. And the experience rewarded me, and I want to share this short journey with you. Hello, I am Brian, also called Baru, and although usually I'm making videos about art-related stuff with a healthy or possibly unhealthy dose of silliness and absurdity, today will be mostly about the intersection of art and joy, and a dash of bittersweet. My sister had contacted me about painting a portrait of this adorable pup named Brooklyn, the fur baby of my sister's friend named Kenzie. Kenzie unfortunately needed to say goodbye to Brooklyn, and of course, this is a very, very, very hard thing to do, as anyone with a pet can understand. We hate to see our friends go away, and they take a bit of our heart with them. So, of course, I wanted to do this kind of scary thing of trying to capture a beloved pet that would be a tribute and a remembrance. It's quite an honor, even though it's a bit scary. Why do I say scary? Well, it's easy to doubt yourself sometimes. For one, I have never met Brooklyn or Kenzie. Like my sister, they live in North Carolina, many, many hours away. And secondly, I had only one photograph to work with. And portraits are particularly tough because they need to either be exact or they need to be wrong in the right ways. And, could I do Brooklyn and Kenzie justice? I wanted to do a good job, so yeah, a bit scary. Fortunately, the photograph I was working from is good, and it's got an interesting angle, the lighting works, the photo is perfect for emphasizing what I was told were Kenzie's favorite things, Brooklyn's ears. I mean, how can you not love those? And also her white feet, also so adorable. So here is Brooklyn Tidbit number 1, and I love this. I know not everyone who watches my videos is from the United States or a fan of baseball, so I will tell you that there is a baseball team called the White Sox, and they are from Chicago. So Brooklyn's second name is Chicago because of her white socks. I absolutely love that. Brooklyn, Chicago. I did spend quite a bit of time thinking about the composition of this piece of art. And my sister said it would be okay if I changed the background, and I really thought that it would be nicer to add some nature to this, both for some color and for some compositional lines that would make this work as a whole. I did a number of sketches, thinking about how to make the art more interesting, but also to make sure to keep Brooklyn as the focus. And one way to do this is to be careful with the lines and object placement. What I landed on was a composition of soft curves that draw the eye to the ears and to the toes. The horizon line kind of draws you to the ears and the face, but we've also got these curves that will draw the eye down to the feet. And I decided to extend one paw outside of the border, just to, make it a little bit more dynamic. And now, Brooklyn Tidbit number 2. Kenzie didn't know what her pup's birthday was, so of course sometimes you just have to make a guess. And as it happened, as the legend goes, Kenzie's school, North Carolina State, played a football game against their rival, the University of North Carolina, And happily for Kenzie, State won that game on November 26th. And so November 26th became the unofficial birthday for Brooklyn. Pets very often have their people, or in doggo lingo, they have their preferred humans. And of course that includes their owners, but Brooklyn definitely loved Kenzie's dad. If they happened to be staying over at their place, if Brooklyn heard his grandpa making coffee, she would not let it go until Kenzie woke up so they could get out of that room and go say hi. I love that sort of loving positivity. And I think that's one of the really endearing things about dogs. On the background field here, I just made this up. I couldn't find a good reference photo. But I did want to use some wildflowers that made sense for the area. And it turns out that the Piedmont area of North Carolina has a number of wildflowers that are out even really late in the season. So I included some black-eyed Susans, phlox, some asters, really just add some pops of color. I did attempt to add what's called, I never heard of it before, a cardinal flower, which is really super bright red. And that was just too much, and so I abandoned that one. But I do like the kind of simple addition of color that it's not too distracting, I think. Initially, I was going to do a line and wash sort of look on this, outlining everything with a black fine liner. You know, as I explained in a previous video, this is partially because, you know, I'm not as skilled with watercolors as I am with pens and pencils. So using outlines as a final touch can really, you know, help to fix lines and add weight where you need to. But, you know, as I got further along in this painting, I decided not to go that route. Brooklyn's fur already has really good contrast against the background, and the reference photo also has a very short depth of field, and so Brooklyn's backside is a bit out of focus in the picture, which actually I kind of liked. So if I began to outline everything, that kind of soft focus look would be lost. So for what it's worth, I just decided to be a little bit more careful with the edges, which is probably good for me in order to become a little bit more skilled at watercolors. And one more Brooklyn tidbit. Apparently, she was a great fan and probably connoisseur of Starbucks pup cups or puppuccinos. I will admit I had no idea what that was. But it looks like it's like a shot of whipped cream in a cup that you give to your dog, and they just love it. And so maybe in remembrance of Brooklyn, next time you go out for coffee, consider topping it with some fluffy dairy cream and say, "Here's to you, Brooklyn, Chicago." Well, thank you so much for watching this special video. I'm very happy that you could spend some time with this super pup. You certainly deserve all the excited jumping and licks and invitations to play with the special pets in your life. Check back for another video next week. We'll hope to see you there. And until then, bye-bye.